The culture is actually damn good.
We're not urinating on fire.
You can stop asking that question. I'm going to be calling the defense.
What I talked to Russell about is none of your business.
Both games.
The winds of change are blowing in Dallas. Or maybe that's just Jerry Jones pretending he can do it without Jimmy Johnson for the 30th year. Tony Pollard suffered a serious injury in the playoffs, but we all knew he was the best running back Dallas had. His punishment is the franchise tag. They also managed to keep a chunk of their free agents, including Donovan Wilson and Leighton Vander Esch, but you know Jerry loves his star power. Old or new, he will collect it. We start in Indianapolis, where a still very serviceable Stephon Gilmore is ripe for the taking. Next, Dallas can never have enough big-name wideouts, and they wanted Brandon Cooks' last trade deadline, so why not fulfill his wish? He's the constantly refurbished house held for a year and then sold on the market at a slight reduction. An NFL tradition. But all of this comes at a great cost. A moment of silence for Ezekiel Elliott.
Final play, it looks like barring a penalty. Prescott over the middle of the turf, gets smoked right away, and that'll do it. The 49ers back to the championship game.
Yes.
The Dallas Cowboys select Mazi Smith, defensive tackle, Michigan.
Dallas didn't make a flashy pick. This is kind of surprising. Mazi Smith makes a ton of sense as it fills a dire need on the roster. Interior D-line is lacking for the Cowboys. And Mazi was the best available at the time. Nothing wrong with drafting another running back to replace Zeke, but you can get that later. Get what you need to get and go from there. Simple as that. A nearly guaranteed divisional round loss awaits you in the future. It may be the same issues as before, but now it comes with a new facelift in several positions. Jerry Boy calls it maturing. But in Dallas, there are many pivotal questions that need to be considered. The first is Zach Martin. He is holding out, but he's vital to the offensive line. He'll be paid handsomely. Next is Trayvon Diggs, master of big interceptions and giving up big yardage to receivers. His intangibles are important, so he'll be paid handsomely as well. Tony Pollard will not be paid handsomely. But what about Dak? Jerry and the Cowboys may be running out of patience. He's a good quarterback, but can he really lead them anywhere? They had to learn a harsh lesson with Zeke, and if he doesn't evolve, he could be out of here after his contract expires. Dallas did bring in Trey Lance as a speculative lottery ticket. Dak better make sure boasting that he won't throw 10 interceptions comes true. And I don't mean 11 or more. First off, I believe there's a repeat winner in the NFC East. Philly takes it thanks to their offense. Sorry, Dallas. The NFC North, I'm going to kill myself in the future for it, but I'm picking Detroit. I think the Lions do it this year. Think that's crazy? I have Atlanta winning the NFC South. The only other serious contender here is New Orleans. And I don't trust them to stay healthy. NFC West, all things considered, is Seattle's to lose. This could change if Bosa plays and Purdy stays healthy, so I have them in a wildcard spot. The other two slots go to Dallas and Minnesota. As I said, though, the final spots are anyone's guess. And that's the majesty of the game itself. Enough talk. Let's get to the football. The New York Giants showed us things that we never expected. On a rainy, miserable night in North Jersey, all of us witnessed a horrific collapse in real time. Dallas hijacked anything resembling hope and decency in order to deliver great humiliation to their hated rival. New York's optimism vanished faster than the entire right side of their offensive line. Pure destruction at every turn. And Danny Derps is at least getting paid handsomely to get destroyed in the pocket and play like shit. The Cowboys didn't have to do much of anything, just watch as the Giants self-destructed in front of them and merely pick up the pieces. And they still crushed their opponent. It was record-shattering. No team had ever given up a pick six, committed 3 turnovers, surrendered 7 sacks, and had a blocked field goal return for a TD in the same season. The G-Men had it all happen in one game. Annihilation in its most grotesque form. And it felt like it wouldn't end. It was so awful a performance that Kadarius Toney himself dropped by to talk shit. New York suffers horrific trauma the day before remembering horrific trauma. Woefully unprepared with poor execution. Dallas just pissed on your grave. Well done. If Aaron Rodgers were playing, he would have had a good chance of keeping the Dallas Cowboys under his boot. People tend to forget he owns them as much as Chicago. However, the Jets can have no nice things. New York's terrible O-line would have probably beaten the shit out of him if he were dressed anyway. They're all gonna be taken down by a mighty star. The Cowboy defense, like last week, was relentless and merciless, slaughtering everyone in their path. Nothing left standing, releasing mustard gas to suffocate their opponent with extreme cruelty. This was no contest. Dallas effortlessly crushed what was supposed to be in front of them.
They'll defend Zach Wilson in the press, but he didn't do himself many favors under this onslaught. Dallas simply capitalized. The thing is, they're probably right. Wasn't much of a quarterback problem, more than an everything problem. The football gods will not allow us to enjoy the great talents of this league. First Aaron Rodgers fell. Then Nick Chubb was taken down. Now we lose Trayvon Diggs, one of the best intercepting corners of the game, and was having some of the stronger performances in his career these past few weeks. All I guess is that the gods are still pissed at Jerry Jones. But did you have to take it out on Diggs? On a non-contact play in practice? His torn ACL means his season is over. It's a tough loss for the Cowboys, but it shouldn't be a death blow at least. They have reinforcements in the secondary. Plus, they still have Micah Parsons. Please don't take him out, too. Dallas will have to make do against Arizona. A tanking team, but considering what they did against the Giants last week, they're not to be taken lightly. Note that the same scenario that happened against the G-Men is occurring again. The Cardinals shocked their opponent by jumping out to an early lead. This isn't a big deal. Arizona will choke it again like they did last Sunday. This shouldn't be a problem with a team with more talent like the Cowboys. It's here where we made a crucial mistake. McCarthyism doesn't do well against red scares. The issue lies in the second half, particularly in the red zone. They couldn't get anything going whatsoever. Unforced error after unforced error, forcing a turnover on downs at the opposing goal line. Being stymied at the 8 on a drive by repeated stalling to force a field goal. In response, the Cowboy defense without Trayvon makes Josh Dobbs look like prime Kyler by being picked apart for 6. Dallas will get back to the red zone though, and Dak will prove his mettle.
2 chances to get it in here. Prescott looking in zone. That one's picked off. It's Kaiser White.
Vintage interception in the red zone to end their hopes and dreams. Christmas came early for all of us. The Cardinals are America's team for one day. The Cowboys and Notre Dame losing on the same weekend? Please, I can only get so erect. Great humiliations must be avenged. The Cowboys must prove that destruction at the hands of tanking Cardinals was a fluke. Dallas and Jerry Boy know far too well about putting legendary old coaches out to pasture. A tattered hoodie will be their next victim. Like in week 1, the offense didn't have to do all that much. Simply let the defense wreck everything in sight. The New England offense is still a shit pile, and Dallas simply adds on to the chaos. In the onslaught, Mac Jones malfunctions and forgets how to do the basic necessities of being a quarterback. Brutal turnovers and complete failure to move the football. When Belichick is benching you for your clone in Bailey Zappi, you know it was a nightmare day. For the Dallas faithful, though, the unwarranted claims of going back to the Super Bowl will continue on. If the defense keeps doing this, they have a shot at it. This game showed us that there are 2 tiers of franchise in the NFC. Despite the claims of certain delusional men that shall go unmentioned, the Cowboys got a very rude awakening in Santa Clara. It happens most times they play them, but let me spell it out for you again. Dallas is a good team. San Francisco is a juggernaut. Everything that the Cowboys can do, the Niners went up the mat and then some. They literally could not be stopped. Kyle Shanahan is currently buying up every piece of land available for the taking in Frisco. The Niners straight up own the Cowboys. Any more domination and they'll be able to make Dallas into a vassal state. Bow before your lord and kiss the ring. You have no chance to make do against this power. They will now gladly take your firstborn as tribute. Kellen Moore's revenge match. Dallas cast him off because Mike McCarthy wanted to run the ball more and save his defense. His new destination is where all hot prospect coaches go to die. The Chargers. It's boisterous asswipe that doesn't shut the hell up and operates himself to high hell against small-town boy who thought he could make it big in Hollywood and is being eaten alive. At SoFi, it's a more grueling affair than 2 strong offenses let on. Neither team can get the running game going, so Dak and Justin will be forced to unleash the aerial attack. It's not much of one to start. Both offenses are struggling to gain traction, and some of that is because both McCarthy and Staley enjoy the art of over-aggression. Despite the high risk of failing 4th down conversions, Dallas at least manages to overcome their own mistakes to kick a field goal just before halftime. Giants can learn from that. Staley and his Chargers, however, don't. He has an addiction to going for it on 4th and short, and it fails on a rollout. High risk indeed. Dallas does nothing with it, and Liquid LA does kick a field goal on their next drive, however. Begin both Dak and Justin dueling in the abyss known as LA. Spectacular passes and daring feats carrying both teams to the heights of a mid-tier franchise. Oops, Dallas, you can't fuck the ball on punt returns like that. That's going to be Charger ball. And Herbert makes them pay to tie the game.
Here is the drive where Dak proves to his haters that he can lead a team to a win, chipping away minutes upon minutes of precious clock. And he completes the job. Limited time remaining and a field goal kick to take the lead. What do the Chargers do in response? Die. Justin Herbert can't do every single thing and finally buckles to the Dallas defense. This is worst case scenario for the Chargers. Look around the AFC. Nearly every team in it won this week. You lost significant ground in the playoff race, and it may hurt in the future. I know it'll hurt us since we have to deal with Cowboys fans this week. Thanks a lot for that. The Los Angeles Rams are like that mystery toy you send for with cereal box UPCs. It could be something cool like Chex Quest. Most of the time it's just some shitty trinket that lasts as long as they did against the Cowboys. This analogy had more life than the Rams did in Dallas. LA became glorified enhancement talent in a squash match. They're there to put the Cowboys over, and that's it. Dak Prescott and the defense went out there and piped them. Crushed in all facets before the first half was even over. Even in the blood cost, the Rams can have no solace. Matthew Stafford was pulled with a thumb injury and the team dies with him. Jerry Boy will be patiently sitting by his phone in case you want to give him any players before the deadline. Remember, he won't call you. You have to call him. His defense will vet your inquiry. A classic battle for NFC East supremacy. Perhaps the NFC in general. With a loud, annoying fan base or the loud, annoying fan base win. Either way, we at least get a nice show with some dazzle and pizzazz. A true heavyweight bout with both fighters giving everything they have to win the day. Rivalry games are always special contests. Between Cowboys and Eagles, it's only amplified. Points being scored as defenses seem unable to stop either attack. Except on limited occasions. However, at half the tide turns. Philly engages in some home cooking. Jalen hurling rainbows and the defense holding up. The Eagles soar once again with another fine offensive drive. And they're up by 11 against what they feel is inferior prey. Dallas doesn't see it that way though, they have firepower as well. Yet every chance they have, it's misfortune aplenty. A fourth down touchdown at the goal line, not so fast, his knee was down and the ball never crossed the plane. Turnover on downs. Get the ball back quickly and score a TD to make up. There's a catch, the 2-point conversion fails. Dak steps out of bounds before his ball crosses the plane. Jerry's about ready to choke a bitch. Even more so as the Cowboys have another chance to secure a lead, only for the Eagles' vaunted front seven to wreck every laid plan in sight. Efforts made to overcome a 4th and long, but no dice. Turnover to Philly. However, the Eagles can't truly seal the deal. But with Cowboys' ball near their 10, it's not quite over. Philly then decides it's a good time to self-destruct with brutal penalties, both real and potentially bullshit. 3 major ones gifting Dallas the ball near the goal line and certain victory. And then they just started sweating bullets. Precious seconds vanishing into air. And only one more chance to steal the prize.
Prescott dancing around. Just going to throw in the end zone. His catch is made by Lamb, but he's short! The Eagles will win it!
Somewhere in Tennessee, a Titans fan is getting flashbacks. Coming up a few yards short as Cowboys fans endlessly complain about the officiating. Literal inches being the difference. Regardless, it was a great game with two teams that deserve kudos for such an effort. But Philly, never ever do that shit again, you hear me? You might not be as lucky next time. Did this game really have to be played? It's like watching an NFL franchise go against a Division III school. The Giants were the token sacrifice for Jerry's offering to the gods for a Super Bowl run. Merely told to squirm for a few minutes before they dropped them into a pit of snakes. It's not Dallas unless you give the home crowd false hope before January heartbreak. Nearly 650 yards of offense on the day, with almost 475 yards of passing. The G-men were given a chance at life on 3rd down, but went 0 for 12. Dead before the opening kickoff. Cowboys, calm down. All you had to do was kill them, not find every blood relative and behead them where they stood. Show mercy. All you need to know about this game is that the Panthers were preparing to go into a silent count due to being flooded by Cowboys fans. The Panthers were at home this week. Frank Reich, moving deck chairs around a sinking ship, has taken over play calling duty again. It's a fucking shit pile over there. Watching this group flop around like a fish out of water is great comedy for the rest of us. Meet the Panthers, where actual points are scored on offense, then immediately followed by a kickoff out of bounds, where great 3rd down stops are undone by unnecessary roughness penalties. 3 times in the first half.
twice on one damn drive, where Bryce Young is sentenced to die behind whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. Under this shit show, Dallas merely had to exist and they would thrive. A standard cowboy meal of feasting on a shitty opponent. The only thing cooking in Charlotte is another pick six by Deron Bland. Hearing from Chicago is endless celebration, as a number one pick is all but theirs. Again. A perfect day in Dallas. America's team crushing commies like it's a thinly veiled propaganda flick from the 80s. Is it more of a Rambo 2 or a Red Dawn? Fair to those movies, the villain showed some semblance of a threat. Washington wasn't close. If their tactics were as poor and out of date as Jack Del Rio's defense, the movie would be over in 20 minutes. We expected the Cowboys to kick ass today, and unsurprisingly, they kicked ass. Against another paper-soft opponent, they took care of business. Nobody's even impressed with it since we have Tweedledee and Tweedledum managing things so poorly they're either punting on 4th and short near the 40 or going out a fucking shotgun on 4th and 1, wasting a relatively solid offensive performance near effortlessly. Nothing they do is neither right nor logical, and it shows in this complete Pornhub-style blowout. All it needs is icing on the cake and it's ready to be a facial. Deron Bland is another pick six delivery. His 5th of the year. Say turkey legs in celebration, but they already did that earlier in the quarter. I wonder if Del Rio having the game passed him by and being fired can be called a dust-up. May the questions and allegations be dodged by both teams tonight. I will say that the offenses have absolutely come to play. Who knew letting franchises rest for a full week increases quality of play? The defenses and coaching could have used more time, however. Deron Bland went from pick sixes to being picked apart on 6 passes in the first half. Geno and Dak could do whatever the hell they wanted on the field, with an efficiency rivaling a hive city. The punters taking a siesta in a robe and slippers. And the flags! There were so many of them flying you'd think it was the opening ceremony for the Olympics. Pretty fitting for the 2 most penalized teams in the league. Regardless of ref ball, it's an intense and competitive match. The Seahawks are clinging for dear life to a 1-score lead. This is mostly because Mike McCarthy gets confused when he counts to 10. But after a quick touchdown, Seattle can go for the kill. The defense manages to make a big stop in the red zone. Victory is almost certain. Sadly, it's never easy. Certainly not with Tyler Lockett's rare-as-hell drop. Then comes Shane Waldron's humiliation fetish. What the hell is this 4th down call? This is the definition of insanity. And the game turns on a dime. Dak reinforces his case for MVP votes with an impressive touchdown drive to take the lead. Cowboys jam a 3rd straight loss into Seattle's chest cavity. The sun sets in the west as the Seahawks continually piss down their leg in games they need to win. Mike McCarthy's out here calling plays from a list of groceries and they still fail. Well, maybe if they didn't leave Micah Parsons unblocked in the final play, we'd be laughing at them instead. That was by design? What? To all those that are listening to this message, this is a national warning. All football fans are under a shelter-in-place order for the foreseeable future. Toxicity coming from Dallas is reaching levels we haven't seen in years. The Cowboys' relentless suffocation of the formerly superior Eagles has resulted in a super strain of deserved arrogance. Even limited exposure to their chest beating and dominance will be fatal. Relocate to the lowest level of your house or a bomb shelter immediately. Ensure that you have at least 2 weeks' worth of canned goods, bottled water, and other necessary supplies. Be on the lookout for signs of a deadly affliction of Cowboys fandom. They include but are not limited to praising the team defense, verbal diarrhea, warranted superiority, foaming at the mouth, and calling the Eagles frauds. Do not turn on any electronic device, as they will be corrupted by chants of Dak for MVP. If your significant other or children are currently away from the home, assume them dead. This is your first and final warning. Good luck. And how about them Cowboys? Buffalo is facing yet another test in the gauntlet for their playoff lives. Dallas may have a lot of questions, especially on the road, but they're playing for a potential number 1 seed. There's no way they're just gonna lie down and die for the Bills. With everything in mind, they passed this exam with flying colors. Not only did Buffalo succeed in front of the home crowd, they managed to do so with a minimal passing attack. I think we may have figured out a way to beat Dallas. Maul them in the trenches. When pushed repeatedly at the line, the Cowboys fell flat. It wasn't even due to Josh Allen for the most part. James cooked. The bell cow and foil to Josh has finally broken out. Cook had over 220 all-purpose yards, most of them on the ground. The so-called battered defense of the Bills found the ability to repeatedly clamp down on the supposed elite Dallas attack. An excellent performance all around, and a much-needed one to keep their quickly reviving playoff hopes juiced for the final stretch. The real Cowboys may be iffy on the road, but Buffalo is a soft schedule coming up. If all goes well, it'll lead to a final showdown with Miami for the division. Send a fruit basket to Kadarius Toney if it happens. Speaking of fruit baskets, Dallas, you'll get another chance at avenging or repeating January failures. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the Fraud Bowl. Two teams that thrive on terrible opponents only to buckle at the slightest of adversity. Only one can maintain their bragging rights for this auspicious title. Will it be Miami, who hasn't won against a playoff caliber team all season? Or will it be Dallas, who is weakened outside of AT&T Stadium? Neither team wants to be crowned with the thorns of faux contention, and they'll make it a strong duel to the very end. There's one concern that needs to be addressed for the Cowboys, though. They're awful on the road. In their travels, their home cooking goes sour. Whatever strengths they have are exposed to the cold winds of reality. That brilliant pass rush can't do a damn thing to generate pressure, only accruing one sack against an O-line full of backups. It's honestly pretty standard Cowboys. Need a win to assert dominance, yet fold like a stack of cards. Whatever their concern, whatever they throw at Miami, nothing holds. They just can't get into that extra gear they flashed throughout the season. All that's being traded by both teams are field goals despite the efforts of Dak and CD. The 6-point deficit, Dallas needs to make sure they can keep up with an easy Eagles schedule. They must pounce on the opportunity. They do get a little help from the Zebras, but in this scenario, don't ask questions, just take the touchdown and run. They have a 1-point lead in crunch time. The defense just needs to hold. Only one problem. The Cowboys are cursed on the road. There is only despair and isolation on the lonely trail, and it leads Miami right to field goal range with no time left.
He's got it! Miami is in the playoffs!
That's an interesting way to get your first win against an opponent in 20 years. The questions and concerns can be silenced, at least for a day. The world laughs at Dallas in a service to most Americans. It was far from pretty, but at the end of the day, what's done is done. Their ticket is secure. Welcome back to the playoffs, Dolphins. A crucial matchup for both teams. So why not make it into one of the sloppiest, more poorly executed contests in the last few days? Nothing screams two of the best teams in the NFC like what should be a safety averted by awful tackling and broken coverage, leading to 6 for Dallas in a play so fucked it loops all the way back to normal. Why score points when you can simply get yardage in between the fives? CD fumbling the ball into the end zone for a touchback will do the rest. If you think this rule's a problem, you can suck my dick. The real problem is Detroit's over-aggression. Get all the way down the field and then botch a 4th and short near the goal line. Because why take the fucking points? Then begin a ping-pong contest of trading the lead with a combination of long drives, deep shots, and failed red zone opportunities. Detroit has a slight advantage, but it'd be awfully nice if the Lions' defense could stop a slant or fade route. Not happening, though. The Cowboys take the lead. Cue a struggle contest of attrition where you wonder what each team is doing as the defense is clamped down. And as Jared Goff becomes the most turnover-happy QB in the league for some reason. Performance art? Maybe it's the Zebras. Is this tripping on Dallas? A perfect excuse for the Cowboys to happen. McCarthyism fell when he tried to go after the military. Mike McCarthy just doesn't know how to fucking count. This brain-dead moron is giving the Lions life by adding 40 seconds to the clock. Of course, cue a long, near-seamless drive by Detroit because every defense decides to get passive for what I can best describe as gamesmanship. With this soft-serve zone play, Amon-Ra shines like the sun and scores a touchdown. They know what they have to do. Finish them off.
Play action. End zone. There it is! Unbelievable! The 2-point try is good!
Fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. We have been robbed of fat guy 2-point conversion and I want heads. Taylor Decker reported as eligible. What the fuck is he talking to the ref about otherwise? Playing backgammon? How do you screw up the eligible lineman that badly? This kind of shit only fuels the allegations of rigging.
So the obvious solution now is to go for 2 again?
And now a flag on Parsons. This one's picked, but Parsons came across.
They got so lucky on that offsides. So now there's another chance. But Dan Campbell keeps bashing his head into a wall.
Goff gets rid of it. Incomplete. And now the Cowboys maintain their lead.
I'm fucking done. I'm more pissed that we've been robbed of fat guy conversion, but fuck it. This game was bullshit, and nothing's going to be done about it because Dan Campbell's as much of an idiot as McCarthy is. Another successfully ruined football game. Well done, NFL. You got more manufactured tension. God, this league is such a fucking joke, man. I don't know whether to congratulate the Cowboys for winning the NFC East by default or keep laughing at Philadelphia's freefall. Fuck it, I'm doing the latter because it's too damn funny not to. Please take this easy win against the rotting remains of Dan Snyder's shithole as confirmation of your reign. It was close for all of 20 minutes. Then Ron Rivera had to give one final send-off to a coaching tenure that proves the game has passed him by. Proudly featuring one of the worst secondaries known to man. Merely being used as playoff prep by Dak and company. Step on the gas and never let the foot off the pedal. The Cowboys are still really iffy on the road, but you don't have to go on the road that often if you're the number 2 seed. Sam Howell celebrates your accomplishment by becoming a deer in headlights once again. Think out of the much-hyped 2021 quarterback draft class, the only first-rounder making the playoffs is Trey Lance. It's a first time for everything, you know. Even Brendan Aubrey proving he's not a robot by missing a kick. What a world. I'd say this is the worst timeline, but Eagles fans get to suffer, so I will accept the trade-off. Air raid sirens blare throughout the land. The insufferability of the Cowboys will soon consume us whole. A well-oiled offensive machine with Dak playing the best football of his career raining down on defenders. The likes of Tony Pollard, CD, and Brandon Cooks punishing those in front of them. A relentless defense that massacres anyone in their path. And those that escape, they're picked off by Deron Blanche for a pick 6. No Trayvon Diggs, no problem. Dallas is a good team, but can they truly beat the best of the best? That's been their issue for a while, and there's a lot of pressure to overcome it. They're a near unstoppable force that can beat anyone at any given time. Except when they're on the road. Dallas goes from champ to chump in as much time as it takes Mike McCarthy to count to 20. Considering how he butchers game clock, it's not fast. That Mike McCarthy has ever done for the Packers. Oh, hold on. We got Barnes. We got Dak. We got Zeke. We got CD, EF, and G Lamb. We got the defense. Hold on. We got Jerry getting his cock sucked by some 22-year-old intern in the press box that showed 20 times getting pissed off. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a break. Hey, Dak, you're not going to throw 10 interceptions in the regular season. You're saving that for the playoffs. This is fucking beautiful. I am in heaven. The Dallas Cowboys getting fucking wrecked. They refs can't save you anymore. Your defense can't save you. Dak can't save you. Where's Sheik? We need to play him as the center so we can get blown the fuck up on the final play of the game. Everyone's that's gonna be different. Hey guys. I have a joke to tell you. The Dallas Cowboys. Every fucking January it is the greatest joke in the world. It never gets fucking old. Oh. You want to talk about it, Scooter? You're gonna fucking talk about it, buddy. Oh, we're gonna make you talk about it, you son of a bitch. I'm sorry, I know you're religious, but still. Boys, I think the Cowboys have definitely earned this saying. On the count of 3. 1, 2, fraud. How about them? Oh boy! How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? Who's ready for the greatest joke in the world? How about them Cowboys? Oh, it doesn't get old. You got fucking annihilated. Oh, wait. The Cowboys are keeping Mike McCarthy.